Hello everyone, we are going to be looking at our other two congruence theorems today. So today we are comparing triangles so that we can prove they're congruent. You'll know you have it when you can write a congruent statement for ASA and AAS. So these are those other two congruence theorems. Just a reminder, we did SSS and SAS in our last homework. So a quick little review of congruence statements. Remember that the order matters when we solve these, or when we write them, excuse me. The order of the letters matter. So if we look at this example here, I see that I've got a pair of equal sides. So I can say WX is equal to XZ. I also see this little 90-degree mark, and so I know this side is also 90 because they're on a straight line. So angle X is equal to angle X. And then in the middle here I've got what we called a shared side. So I can put dash marks on that because XY is equal to itself, XY. So here I see a side, an angle, and a side. You'll see today this will help us if we write a little S or an A next to what we have. So SAS. So this is our side angle side congruence theorem. And if we write that congruence statement, I'm going to make my triangle, and I'm going to start with WXY to name the first one. So since I went along the one dash side and then down the middle, I need to go in the same direction for the other one. So ZXY. So this is that congruence statement we learned about. Since the order matters, there are two other ways we could write this congruent statement, and all you need to do is change the order of these letters in the same way. So this time, instead of starting with W, if we start with X, we can go down and then up that hypotenuse. So X, Y, W. And you'll notice the middle letter here became the first, the Y shifted, and the W went to the back. So without even looking at my picture, I'm going to shift the X up, the Y follows it, and the Z goes to the back. So X, Y, Z, that's correct. And then last, if I want to start with Y in the beginning, I would go Y, W, X. And to make the congruent statement the same, I'm going to go Y, Z, X. So again, I'm just shifting those letters over. So this is just so you can see that all of these are correct answers. They're all a different way of writing the same congruent statement. Alright, let's take a quick look at our next two congruence theorems. So first we're going to look at angle, side, angle. The important thing here is that the side is in the middle. This is super important. It's kind of like those included angles. This is an included side. So if we want to start listing out what we have here, I'm going to take a look at this picture, and you should remember that the angles in the middle like this, when they're across from each other, those are called vertical angles. And vertical angles are equal. That's something we learned in Unit 1. So I can say that angle L is equal to angle L. Next, I see that I've got a dash mark here on a side, so I see that KL is equal to LM. And then last but not least, I've got one little mark on these two angles, so M and K are equal angles. So if I mark my angles and sides like I did up here, I see that I have an angle, I have a side, and then I have an angle. So by writing the A's and S's, if I read ASA when I go right in a line, I see that this is an example of ASA because the side is in the middle of those two angles. So now I just need to write a congruence theorem. So I'm going to call this one MLP. So MLP, I need to start at KLJ. Alright, so that is angle, side, angle. And now our very last congruence theorem, we have angle, angle, side. So it's very similar, but just a little bit different. So again, if I look at this picture, I only see 2 pieces of information, and I always need 3. But here in the middle, you should see that giveaway again, that these are vertical angles. So those vertical angles show me that angle L is equal to angle L. Next, I see I've got an angle marked here, J and N, so J is equal to N. And then last but not least, I have one set of sides that have a dash mark on it, so KJ is equal to MN. So I used green for both of my sides here because now I hope you see if we write those A's and S's to help us out. So I see this is an angle, so I'm just going to label it an A. This is an angle, so I label it an A. And this thing is a side, so I put an S. So now if we read this in order, you read AAS or SAA, which are the same thing, AAS. So that's how this is different from this one. Over here, the side is in the middle. Over here, the side is on the end. So to finish that up, let's remember that the side is not in the middle. And let's write our congruent statement. So triangle KJL, KJL. I need to go in the same order, so I'm going to start at M and L. Alright, and that's it. You have now learned all 4 congruence theorems. So go ahead and we'll practice this worksheet in class, and thank you guys for watching.